Hey, we're here. It's the One Call Mainers. We're at 16 Carat. God, what an experience. Very awesome. Very happy to be here. And hey, you're listening to the Catch Clap podcast, baby. Let's roll.
Oh my God!
Welcome to this episode of Catch Clap podcast. And as you're hearing right now, I'm talking English, and you will ask yourself, why is Sebastian talking English? We have a very special episode because we will do a preview of the Scenic City Invitational weekend this year. This is the 10th edition of Scenic City Invitational, so a very, very special edition. And of course, I'm not talking about this by myself. As always, I have my friend, my SCI travel partner from the last year, Drew, with me. Hello, Drew.
Yeah, hey everyone. Looking forward to this little episode. It's SCI season, so let's go.
And we also have a very special guest. As I already said before we started recording, she is in my at least top 10 people I see the most on IWTV. She is, in my opinion, one of the best and nicest fans you will find in independent wrestling in the US, Val Pancakes. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. I feel so honored that you would want to talk with me.
It's definitely a historical episode for us, and you are a part of it. As always, we also have things on this weekend in addition to the SCI tournament. And as you know it from us, if you are listening to our podcast, and maybe you have listened to a preview of WXW 16 Karat Gold, we will talk about all the shows surrounding SCI at first, and then get to the SCI, get to the first round matches, get to what we believe will happen at this weekend. Yes, and we can start with TW presents the night before Red Bank Roulette. And this is special, and this is also the reason why we don't have any announcements so far, because first of all, they've pretty much joined two shows. So Red Bank Roulette is something we always see in TWE, and the night before as well, and now it's one show. And typical for Red Bank Roulette is that you don't really know what will be happening. And it's also the case that we don't have a video of the last show already from last Saturday, so we can't tell much about this. But we already have an announcement for the next show. TWE presents Last One Standing next Saturday, where we will have Sigrid versus Cody Manon. So we can't really talk about what will be happening there because we don't know anything. But maybe my starting question is, Val, what do you think about joining these two concepts? Do you think that's a good way of bring something new, or would you have preferred the traditional night before? What's your opinion on this?
I think it'll be interesting to see how they do it. But I do think it's a cool concept. I kind of like the element of surprise. I assume that you're going to see a lot of your TWE regulars. I would hope, fingers crossed, that there are some people that haven't been announced for SCI at all that are going to be there. And I'm talking people like Shug, Shug D, who's a staple at TWE, but hasn't really been announced for any of the SCI stuff.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And I also think that it's smart because when you do Red Bank Roulette during SCI weekend, there will be people available who wouldn't be available at regular TWE shows because they are already traveling there for the weekend. But also from the regulars, as you said, Shug would be a good call. I think we don't have anything announced yet, at least as I know, for Darian Banks. So we have to see about this as well. But Drew, what is your opinion on this?
I absolutely like that. Because like you said, it's a little bit of the mystery factor that who's on that show, and with the SCI a day later, you have tons of opportunities to have a lot of people on your card. For example, last year at Futures Showcase, we have a surprise match from Gary J. So maybe we see someone on that level as a surprise or something like that. And it's pretty cool to mix that up. And I think the Redback Roulette is the perfect concept for a weekend like this, to start a weekend like that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Laugh Duck was also surprised last year, right? On night before in his match against Mackenzie. I don't think he was he announced before? I'm not sure.
I think you're right.
Yeah. But now, of course, this will happen on the Thursday before SEI. So it will happen on July 17th. And of course, before we get to SEI, we talk about the matinee events on Saturday, on the last day that we always have, which is Action Futures Showcase. Well, you already said before we started recording that you are really looking forward towards this year Action Futures Showcase, given the talent that is announced. And I will give a quick, will tell you the lineup. So we have Finesse, Eddie Hendricks, Joey Hyder, Soraya Saber, Shimbashi, Jay Lucas, Tommy Davis, Danny Orion, Amina Belmont. Val, who are you looking forward to the most, or to see the most? And what are your thoughts on this field? Who do you think could win? Yeah.
My top, I kind of have like a top. I kind of have 4 favorites. Finesse.
Agreed.
They've been on a tear, just going through, the last year, and somebody who's worked really hard and improved, and it's just so much fun to watch. Like, Finesse is always, plus he's a hometown, he's a hometown guy, so that's always, kind of have that edge, about you. Also, I'm a big Jay Lucas girl. Have been for years. Would love to see Jay win. Love Jay Lucas. I like his style. I like the way that he wrestles. He's just so much fun to watch. Somebody that's kind of come across my path in the last year or so has been Shimbashi, who is, again, just an absolute joy. I love watching Shimbashi. Definitely brings something different to the table. And then my 4th, and bless her heart, I love her so much, Amina Belmont. She is my girl. I have been so fortunate that she is from she's from the Midwest. And when I was going out to the Quad Cities and to the Davenport, Iowa area a lot, because I have friends out there and whatever. So I had seen her kind of come through. And so now to see her doing something like this, from seeing her, one of her first, handful of matches, has been really, really cool and enjoyable for me.
Yes, first of all, I absolutely agree with Amina Belmont. When I prepared for this, I looked it up, and she has pretty much wrestled in every state of the Midwest. So it's great to see her getting like an opportunity in the Southeast as well. In my opinion, I absolutely agree with you. In my opinion, Finesse is a favorite to win this. Especially given like the progression of the last year, also the progression of his tag team partner. It's pretty much a story that writes itself with Jameson and him, and also him being a Geek City champion and everything. So Finesse is a huge favorite in my opinion. And what you said about Jay Lucas, someone who's known more as a tag team wrestler, could really shine in singles competition. Shimbashi, as well as Danny Owen, really like started to come to the Southeast to TWE and action wrestling, and they established themselves more and more. And yeah, so I can absolutely agree with what you said. Drew, first of all, how many of these people have you seen wrestle like before from the people that you do know? Because I know that you know certain people because we've seen them together. What are your expectations? Who do you think will win?
I would absolutely agree with Finesse. I think he's the right choice for a winner. It like you said, it writes for itself. Last year, it's Jameson Chuk who won the tournament, so it would make a ton of sense if it would be finesse this time around. So you have this like full circle. You have him maybe the next time in the SCI, and he's great. So he's a hometown guy, like Val said. So it make a lot of sense, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm not familiar with all of them. I like Jay Lucas. He's cool. I'm a fan of Saraya Saber. I think she's cool as well. And of course, you have done Finesse and all these guys. So I'm really looking forward. I think the Future Showcase was a great show last year.
Yeah.
Beat my expectations a lot. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I think it's a great time for us to watch in Germany, time-wise.
I think it's 8 p.m.
That's great. So I looking forward to watch that live. And it would be great.
And if you're listening to us, maybe also give it a try, because it's 8 p.m. on a Saturday. And if you already have like IWTV, or if you want to get IWTV for that,
it's maybe a perfect time now.
Yeah, you don't have to be as crazy as I do, who will try to stay awake for all shows. But maybe this would be a good first impression if you've never seen anything of the SCI weekend before, or if you want to watch something and you've watched something before. So yeah, keep this in mind. Someone we didn't mention so far, but I want to mention, because I agree, Finesse, big favorite. I also could see Soraya Saber winning it, to be honest. And another one I could see winning it also because he has been to TW multiple times, and he could be like he could have like a good tournament history or like tournament storyline. As a heel is Tommy Davis. So I could also see him win this. Yes, but we already have matches announced for that, which are non-tournament matches. We have Dragon Kai Enterprises, which are Big Boss Saul and Bobcat alongside Student Cullen. Greetings at this point to Cullen. Versus Cold World, which are Dylan Scott and Corey Steed, also known as Corey O'Neill. I want to say something about this match first. So, Dragon Enterprises, Big Boss Saul, and Bobcat are known in the region. I don't know, I've seen too much of Cold World. I know that they are, I think, from Texas and Arkansas, respectively. They've been active in Texas, but also in other parts of the country. Are you familiar with them, Val?
So honestly, I am not that familiar with them. They're names that I've seen before, but I honestly can't recall ever seeing them work. So that match is interesting to me, because those are both teams that I'm not the most familiar with. So as far as any predictions, it would be a shot in the dark. But that's the cool part about futures, though, right? It's cool to see somebody that you maybe aren't familiar with, and the first time you see them is in person in your face, and that gives you a different perspective on it than having seeing it streaming or whatever.
And I would say, although I don't know much about Cold World, but I would think that Dragon Car Enterprises would win, and I could imagine that someone named Aaron Wade would be responsible for that. Because this is like his group, or he's like affiliated with them, and I could imagine that. Do you know some of these people? Do you not know any one of them?
Unfortunately,
I'm not sure, but didn't you see Big Boss Saul and Bobcat when we watched New South Horse?
I'm not 100% sure, but maybe. But
yeah.
if yes, then I haven't them in my mind really. So
It was a lot of new wrestlers for you on that weekend. So
yes, yes. But I think most of them I don't know. But like Val said, that's what Future's all about. You see some new faces, you get to know a lot of new wrestlers, and maybe you become a fan of some of them. So I'm looking forward to it.
Speaking of not knowing, we will also have the Action Futures Gauntlet, which we also had last year, which was won by Finesse, and who therefore qualified for this year's Action Future Showcase. Drew, do you have any guesses who could be like in this, or are there names that are coming to your mind? I have a few, but I will let you have a go.
I mean, for me, I have no idea. I can't think of anybody in particular. I'm hoping like it would be really cool if it's a whole bunch of people I don't know. That would be cool too. And just get to see people, unfold in front of me. Or maybe get folded up in front of me. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I definitely have a few people on my list. One of them is also known to Drew, as I know, which is Big Booty Judy. I
Yes.
could see her entering this. Country Boy Coots, someone I could see you entering this. Maybe Sigrid. And maybe, I don't know if he's busy on that weekend, but maybe the Luminary. These are the people I could see in this. But I'm taking it back. Country Boy Coots, of course, already has a match against Hakim Young. I was too quick. So forget about Country Boy Coots, but not about the other ones. Because Country Boy Coots will have a match against Hakim Young. I guess you also won't be too familiar with him, right? If not, that's not a problem. Hakim Young is like a young up-and-coming wrestler from the Southeast region. Yeah. I think
unfortunately not, but Country Boy Coots, he's cool.
Yeah, definitely. And then we have a match. I don't know what this stipulation means, to be quite honest. But I think it's funny because we will have a Who Do You Hate More match between Grace Pierce and Damon Stryker. I mean, I think you are among the few person where I can say this well, but you have seen more independent wrestling than I do, which is a sentence I don't say too often. Can you explain me what the Who Do You Hate More match could be?
I mean, I think it's one of those matches that like you're just gonna root for them to beat each other up because you want to see them get their asses kicked. And as long as they're both worse for wear, then that's a win for you,
Yeah. I don't know. Are you familiar with Damon Stryker and Grayson Pierce?
Not so much Grayson Pierce. Damon Stryker I've seen before.
Yeah.
Real punchable face on that one.
Yeah, Damon Stryker. I think you've seen him before as well, Drew, for TWE. He's the one who also had this feud with Jake Murphy, maybe if you remember.
Yes, I know him, of course. I can't forget his name because Adam Copeland had the same name when he was an enhancement talent at WCW like 25 years ago or something like that.
Really? That has to be a coincidence.
I think so, yes.
But Grayson Pierce is someone who's also active in the Southeast region, who's also from Georgia. I think he was trained by AR Fox at WWA4. He has been at Action Next Up, and I think he's a good fit for that show. But with all that being said, now we are getting like to the main part, so to speak. So we're getting to the Scenic City Invitational, to the first round, where we already know the matches. And our first match we will talk about is Cody Manhorn versus Corey Carino. And I will start, and I, like for myself, gave this matches all like a tagline. And the tagline for me here is like all-rounder versus sports entertainer. Because Cody is someone who can do everything from like being a high flyer to being technical to working hardcore or even death matches. And Corey Carino for me is someone who's like doing a lot of sports entertaining wrestling in indie wrestling. And this could be interesting to see this clash here. Drew, what are your thoughts on this match? And also, who do you think will win? Because my pick to win this is Cody Manhorn.
Yes, I would agree with Cody Manhorn. He's like a mainstay for TWE action like that. So he's gonna win for me. I'm not the hugest Colby Corino guy, but I think in a match like against Cody, he can absolutely work. It's like a cool mix of styles, and I'm looking forward to that. It could be really fun, but I'm going with Cody as well.
What are your thoughts on this match, Val?
Cody across the board. I think that Colby is he's been a stalwart of the indie scene for a while. He kind of has some air about him. And I think that it's I don't want to say like a proving grounds type match, maybe. But, for Cody to win, I think would be like a little feather in your cap type situation. And, but I absolutely think Cody can do it. He's improved so much over the last couple of years. And again, he does have that hometown TWE backing to him. And, not that that's everything, but sometimes that's a lot, to have the crowd behind you.
Yes, and how much I agree with you, we'll see later when we talk about who we will think will advance and stuff like this. But you can continue because the next match we have is Channing Thomas. So Channing Thomas is returning to the SCI after last year, and at least almost as important, Sidney Becabella will be returning too. And he will take on Vinny Massaro. Well, what are you expecting from this match?
Oh, this sounds like shenanigans.
Absolutely.
I think that it's going to be funny to see Bacabella interact with Massaro. I think Channing Thomas is probably going to take the win on it. He's been to SCI before. He knows what it's like. He's going in there with that additional experience that Vinny maybe doesn't have. But it will be really fun to see Vinny, who's a West Coast guy, in this Southeastern tournament.
Do you agree, Drew? Do you also think that Channing Thomas will win? And what do you think about this matchup?
Actually, not. My money is this time on Vinny Massaro. I'm a huge Vinny guy, so it would be great to see him advance. Channing Thomas was last year in the tournament, and I could see that he still wins because he has Bacabella on his side. But I give it to Vinny this time. He's too old for the shenanigans of Bacabella, so he don't fall for the tricks, and then he gets the win. I would love to see that.
I agree with both of you in a way because, as Val said, I also think that there will be shenanigans. But I agree with Drew in terms of I also think that Vinny Massaro will win, which has to do with two things I will talk about later. With one matchup I would see in the semifinals, and also one matchup I would see in a non-tournament action of round two. And I don't know how many it were, maybe one or two or three, but I definitely know that when the competitors were all known, I guessed what could the matches be, and this was one I guessed right because it's pretty much writing itself.
Yes.
And maybe also writing itself, or at least a match you could have expected as the next one we will talk about. Is the match between Mortar and Mad Dog Connolly. Something I titled like the horse fight of the first round. What are your thoughts on this, Drew?
I love that matchup. I think Mortar having Mortar in the tournament after the showcase he had last year at the Action Feature Showcase was like inevitable.
Absolutely.
Making him part of the tournament, and I'm a huge Mad Dog Connolly fan. He's like my favorite wrestler on the indies right now. So I'm really looking forward to this. And like these two hitting each other in the face really, really hard. I would love to see that, but I'm going with Mad Dog Connolly. He had last year his match with Tank, which he lost, and now it's time for the second round for him. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I also see Mad Dog winning this. I think it's a good matchup for the first round, although you can say that especially for Mad Dog and Mortar, you have a lot of options where I would say, yes, this is a good fit also for the second round. And it feels like it's the right, for me, it feels like it's the right time for Mad Dog to go further than he did last year. But, well, do you agree on this, or would you see like Mortar winning this, or what are your thoughts?
In concurrence with y'all, I think it's going to be Mad Dog moving on. Just because to kind of, again, comes in with experience now, knows what it's like, knows what that tournament feels like. And I think that he's, again, been on such a tear that it almost has that momentum for him. As we'd kind of talked before, I'm coming off of a show last night in Pittsburgh where Mad Dog Connolly was, I think that's maybe been his first time there. And I'm used to seeing Mad Dog because he's from my area. I've seen him several times. But to watch a new crowd react to what Mad Dog Connolly does made me remember how special it is what Mad Dog Connolly does. And I'm very excited to see that match against Mortar. Mortar, somebody that I really enjoyed last year, and I was really excited to see last year. So I'm excited to see them again.
Yeah, before we forget about this, because you already mentioned it, Val really took the time today, although she's not at home. She took a trip to see 2 wrestling shows. And therefore it's very special that you still did this, because I know that there's still a long drive home for you coming up. But I absolutely agree with you. Also with Mad Dog having been here in Germany, and he's really making the rounds. West Coast, he's pretty much everywhere. Someone who's a real hometown guy is the one who is in the next match, because we continue with Jameson Shook versus Gary J. Jameson, last year's Action Future Showcase, the winner. For me, this is like a meeting of the all-rounders, because they are both so good at so many different styles. We know Jameson as someone who can almost do anything, including deathmatch. We've come to know Gary as someone who can do multiple styles from strong style to technical style to pretty much everything. And this is one of the matches I think I'm looking forward to the most. There's still other ones I'm also looking forward, but I think that Jameson will win here. And this will be also a good moment for the crowd. But Val, do you agree? Do you also think Jameson will win? And what are your expectations on the match?
You know, if this is the one where I feel like it's probably going to be Jameson taking it, but not without a real fight, because Gary J is just one of the hardest hitting, at least by me as a fan watching it, and somebody that I would like to take a chop from the least. Because that man throws them chops, and I love watching it. It's one of my favorite things to see. It brings me such joy. But yeah, I think Jameson's probably going to take it because, again, you have that hometown crowd behind you. But I think it's going to be a lot closer than you might think, because Gary J, I'm pretty sure he's been in the tournament before.
Yeah, he has been.
I was like, I feel like I've seen him in it before.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure when it was, but I can look it up. I'm pretty sure that he has been in it before, and that he will be returning. I think he was in none of the tournaments that I was present at, so it wasn't last year and it wasn't 2023. But I would think something like 2021, 2022. It's even been before that. It's been 2018 actually. And in 2018 he even got to the finals of the tournament. I I didn't know that it was that long ago.
I
so we had
definitely
the
wasn't at that one.
Yeah, you that's right. Yeah, but it seems to be the last one he was present at, if I'm not forgetting something, or if Caterers isn't forgetting something. Yeah, but Drew, what are your thoughts on this match?
To be honest, I'm expecting an absolute banger between these two, where they really hit each other in the face really, really hard. It's almost like a little bit of a mirror match. Like Jameson Shook is like a young Gary J kind of. If that makes sense.
It's also what Val said. I already agreed on, or I also agree on that. It's almost kind of a coin toss. It's also the one where I had the most problems like picking one, because I could see it go either way.
Yes, but I would give Jameson a little bit of the advantage, because like Val said, for one, he's like the hometown guy, and he did so much and developed so much in the last couple of years, like the last 12 months. He won Action Future Showcase last year, so I think it would be a great story. Like, he won Future Showcase last year, and now he won SCI, or at least coming to the finals. Would be a great story for him, and I love him, and it would be awesome to see him have so much success.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can continue. You can continue, Drew, because we will have a match between Bojack and Hunter Drake.
Oh boy.
What do you say about this matchup?
That could be wide. It's almost like a David versus Goliath match, or maybe a David versus Godzilla match. I think that could be really, really cool. Bojack is like from that North Carolina region. He really breaking out the last couple of years. So I could see him winning this match against Hunter Drake, to be honest, and give him the advancement to the next round. I would love to see that. But maybe we see an upset from Hunter Drake. But my money is on Bojack, and I think that could be a cool match. Like Hunter Drake trying to avoid the action from Bojack, and Bojack then finally gets its hands on him and beat the smack out of him. That could be pretty cool.
You always said it's like David versus Goliath, but the thing is that David is the evil one here, and Goliath is the good one.
Yes. It's like switch roles.
Yeah, I think that makes it pretty special, and
100%.
Yeah, I think Hunter Drake is one of the most talented guys out of the region, and Bojack is, I think you and I have talked about this before as well, Drew. Bojack is maybe one of the best heavyweights in indie wrestling right now.
Agree.
But what are your thoughts of this match?
In my heart of hearts, I want Bojack to win. I want to see Bojack yeet Hunter Drake most of the way across the TWE arena.
I think everyone wants to see it.
I feel like that's a very distinct possibility of a thing that might occur.
Yeah.
But I feel like Hunter Drake will somehow come out with a win on this. I would love to see Bojack advance. Do not get me wrong. But I feel like Hunter Drake, because he's kind of a weaselly guy, will kind of weasel his way into a win.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
I also forgot to tell my pick. This is also a coin toss for me. I'm like 51-49, saying that Bojack will win that. But what you just said, well, is also very, very possible. And you said that Hunter Drake is kind of a Weasley guy and is somehow finding a way to win. Speaking of wrestlers like this, Tim Bosby will have his match against Cruel. Well, what can you tell us about this?
Tim Bosby's been, he's been doing things.
That's a good way to describe it.
he's been doing some things, and maybe it's time for him to get a little bit of that, like comeuppance about it. And who better than to just distribute the comeuppance than somebody like Cruel. You know, so I think a lot of people would like to see just Cruel just beat the crap out of him. I know I would. But I definitely feel like by maybe not skill, maybe by, you know, somebody that he has in his corner, he may end up getting the win on this. So I'm going to pick Bosby on this, but under protest, if you will.
Let's just call it as it is. This is what I want to say about this match. I would think that Cruel would dominate Tim Bosby, yeah, but he would lose against Dylan Hayes. I think in the end, Bosby will win because people will interfere in his interest, so to speak. But Drew, do you see it like this as well? Or yeah.
I 100% agree on you too. I think like Cruel would be dominant the match 90% of the time. Maybe Bosby trying to avoid him, crawling out of the ring, protecting him, hiding behind Dylan Hayes and something like that. And then at the end, Cruel loses because of interference from Dylan Hayes and something like that. I don't think that Bosby as the action champion, that they throw him around in the first round, and then you have like an excuse to have Cruel out of this tournament. So yeah, I agree with you too.
Yeah, the action championship thing is also something I like thought about, and someone who's also been a champion at TW, he isn't anymore, is of course Casey Owens, and he will have a match against Danny Briggs, aka Martin Stone. Yeah, aka how was he called in WWE again?
Danny Burch.
Yes, right. I remember seeing him at WXW, actually.
Yes.
I think you were there too as well, 6 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is like the epitome of a generational clash. This is like the epitome of youth versus experience. And I think this is very interesting. And it's also not that easy to pick for me, because I could see Casey win this, especially as like a heel, as like a heel of tournament, maybe even. But at the end, I think that Danny Briggs will win it, also to maybe keep some like more known to the public, let's say, out of like the indie wrestling community people, to still have them in the tournament. But it's once again one of those matches where it's very, very hard. Well, do you agree, and do you also see Danny Briggs winning, or would you rather like set your money on Casey Owens?
I think you're absolutely right. I think Danny Briggs is going to win this.
Yeah.
And I think just based on, what I've seen in the past from them bringing in somebody that is like an ex-WWE guy, they tend to do well in the tournament, at least the first night. So I think that he is going to just, he has to have more wrestling experience than years Casey's been alive. So
yeah,
true.
So, I think that that's going to really weigh on his side, and just probably the size difference. Casey's not like a real tall guy, so maybe that'll come into play too. But yeah, I think Danny Burch is going to take this one.
Do you agree, Drew, or do you see it differently?
At this time, I would like to disagree for once. My money is on Casey Owens. For one, I think it would be huge for him to have a win over someone like Danny Burch or Danny Briggs, or what his name is now.
Danny Briggs.
Yeah, thank you. And it would be great for him to have a win over him. And he's not that guy with that big status where you can say he could not lose against someone like Casey. So I think you could do that somehow, maybe with the interference of some good hand or something like that. you can do that pretty well. And for me, I have booked like Bojack, Mad Dog, and Vinny in the next round, which have all like a similar style to him. So I don't think they book too much guys with like a common style in the next round. So you have a little bit of variety still in the tournament. So I'm going with Casey Owens.
That's interesting because with all these three names, I can agree, and this is the reason why I think Daniel Brooks will be in the next round. I will talk about this later. But Drew, you can start with our last match that we have. And our last match will be Teriyaki versus Diego Hill. Stage is yours.
It's pretty obvious that I'm for Teriyaki because I have a bad taste about puns, and I love the pun in the name Teriyaki, so I'm going with him. But nonetheless, I think he's great. He's a cool high flyer. I like him a lot. So just make this quick. I'm going with Teriyaki.
It's not that my sense of humor is any better, so I cannot judge you. Do you agree? Well, would you also go with Teriyaki, and what do you expect this match to be?
I am so excited for this match. I think this one is going to be like the sleeper, like banger match of this tournament.
Absolutely.
Because they're both like kind of high flyer flippy people. They're kind of evenly matched as far as like size is concerned. And, you know, even really experience, I don't think they're too far off from each other. And they've both been working a ton. I am so excited to see what this match brings. I like both of these guys. They're both so much, again, for me, so much fun to watch. Just exciting. I do think Terry's probably going to take it, but you know, some of these matches I feel more strongly about than others. This one for me could go either way. So I'm just picking Terry because I am a little bit more familiar with him, know him a little bit better, but so excited for this match.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's hard to predict because it's pretty much, as you said, it's like how much high flying will you do, and they both say yes. So I think it could be a really good match, and it could be like, in my opinion, you said like the sleeper match, which is a very good way to describe it. It could be like the equivalent of Rob Killjoy versus Rico Gonzalez last year,
Yes.
which was a match which wasn't too high on the list of many people in terms of expectations. And at the end, many people said, yeah, this was the best tournament match of day one, for example, which I would absolutely agree. It was one of the top 5 matches of the weekend, which I would also agree with. So this could be similar. And now, Val, you're the first one to start. Who do you see like in the second round, on the semifinals? But more importantly, if you have like matches you would see, you can tell this as well, but you don't have to. And most importantly, who do you see in the final on day 2, like the 4 people, and who do you see as a winner?
Oh man. There's a part of me that thinks Bosby's gonna finesse his way into the final 4. Without knowing what those, you know, second round matches are gonna be, kind of have to guess at who my final 4 would be. Probably Bosby, Hunter Drake, Manhorn, and maybe Shook. And I would love to see it kind of come down to like Shook and Bosby. I would love to see Shook win this. That would be, I mean, an absolute delight. But anything can happen, and you know, there's a lot of moving pieces because you know you never know then who's going to win, if you're going to end up with Channing, and then there's that wild card of old Sydney Bacabella over there. But then you have and maybe, you know, maybe too, maybe having, you know, Sydney on one side and Dylan on the other will kind of neutralize the both of them. Would love to see that. come into play as well.
I like the way you're thinking because I'm thinking pretty much similar, but a bit different. Because I could see Bosby versus Jameson Shook being a semifinal, and Bosby would win it, maybe also due to interference. Then I would see the other semifinal to be Cody Manhorn versus Diego Hill, with Cody winning it. And then, and I know you will have a lot to say about this as well, Drew, later on. I see Bojack versus Matt O'Connolly with Matt Dog winning, and Danny Briggs in like the clash of the maybe two most well-known, most famous people. I see Danny Briggs versus Vinny Massaro, but with Vinny Massaro winning. Mm-hmm. So my final would be Tim Bosby versus Cody Manhorn versus Matt O'Connolly versus Vinny Massaro. And I would see Vinny getting eliminated first, then Mad Dog eliminating Bosby, and Cody eliminating Mad Dog, because by that you would have like the ultimate like face and maybe also underdog with Cody when it's a hometown hero, and you would have a good way to build up a championship match from Cody versus Bosby, and Bosby could say like, yeah, you beat me, but you didn't pin me, or you didn't eliminate me because it was Mad Dog. And in the end, maybe Cody could even like overcome these odds as well and beat Tim Bosby. So this would be a similar way of telling the story, just with Tim Bosby beating Jameson Shook as well, and then beating Cody. But it's a similar way of thinking, like you did well with Jameson Shook versus Tim Bosby. Drew, who do you think will win? What are your semifinals?
I have it a little bit similar than you, but also a little bit different. I wrote down all the matches, I just would go through them. I have Bosby versus Shook as well. For the semifinal, but with Shook going over then against Bosby, so maybe you can build up a match in the future, like Shook says, I beat you, Bosby. Now want a title, 1, 2, 3, the action title, kind of.
So you're pretty much like doing also a way of build up like I did, but you do it then with Shook instead of Cody Manhorn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then I have Cody versus Casey Owens.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Which I think would be a cool matchup for the semifinals. So like you have Casey have a good showing, like making it to the semifinals, but then he lost to Cody, and Cody go into the finals. Then I have Bojack versus Uncle Vinny.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be a great like heavyweight, hard-hitting matchup, something like that. But giving Bojack the advantage, so that Bojack making the finals. Yeah. I think that would be pretty cool. So, and then the last match I have that's left is Teriyaki versus Matt O'Connolly. I think that could work pretty good. Yeah, I think that could work pretty well. Like, Matt Dog trying to get to court Teriyaki, but he's too fast. But in the end, it's Matt Dog who gets the win. So we have Cody, Shook, Matt Dog, and Bojack in the finals. Like two like big guys, two heavyweights, and then like the two real homegrown guys. Of course, the arena is familiar with Mad Dog as well, but you get what I mean. So we have like a cool mix, something like that. And maybe I can see that Mad Dog eliminates Bojack first, and maybe then Jameson and Cody together eliminate Mad Dog, and then we have like Jameson and Cody, like the homegrown guys, make it out of each other, and I have Cody winning this thing.
Interesting that we got to such similar path. Drew, now that you've said what you see in the final and everything, could you maybe like see on day 2? Despite like the tournament action, or there are several matches where you would say, oh, this could be, or maybe even not matches, but maybe some reunion could happen. Someone could show up. Someone could have a match. Is there anything where you would say like, oh, this could be happening?
I think we see a lot of guys that we see regularly. Like Val said, we don't have Darian on the card, we don't have Shuki on the card. I think some of them will be involved as well. I love some of them.
And another name is also missing, which is, pun intended, a big name. Because I don't think we have Big Dave on the card so far.
True. I would love to see like some of the heavyweight guys in the tournament. Like they, if they eliminated in round 1, that they like have some sort of tag match, like something like Danny Briggs and Uncle Vinny, like versus Big Dave, and maybe someone else, like throwing all these big guys into one match. Or maybe in a 4-way or something like that. So you have similar styles. Maybe Gary J as well. It's like Big Dave, Gary J versus Uncle Vinny and Danny Briggs, something like that. And they just brawl over the arena, hit each other in the face really hard. That would be cool.
Well, what are you expecting for the non-tournament action of day 2?
Depending on how the matches turn out, you could potentially see, like, because Diego and Bojack have a tag team. They're the High Flying Star Machines. So they could maybe have a match. Or on the flip side of that, you could see, because I know that, Jay Lucas and Teriyaki tag together quite a lot. So you could maybe see that as a tag team match. Depending on, the eliminations that happen first round. Could bring in, like, I know one year they brought in the Skulk, which I was really excited about. So something to that effect, or like you were saying, you don't see guys like Big Dave or like any really of like the KOBK guys, Sean Campbell, Heater, some of those guys that aren't listed anywhere, maybe come in and do something on, night 2 or something like that.
Yeah, I could, to give you my opinion, I could also see the guys you just referred to, like the KOBK guys, or maybe also someone like Eric Wall, or Rob Killjoy, Anakin Murphy, maybe also on the Scramble match on day 2. And for the ones who are listening who are not familiar with SEI, but who are familiar with WXW, it's pretty much the Scramble edition of the alternate 4-way you have at the beginning of 16 Karat, but here you have it on day 2. Yeah, so it's, if someone is like out of the tournament, we had this 2 years ago when Jaden and Shook beat each other up so badly that they were both out of it, and then Darian entered the tournament and even reached the finals through this through the Scramble, and I could see them there. It's a very good thing that you just said, well, with Teriyaki and Jay Lucas. This would be a great thing to see them. We could also maybe see a reunion of Finn, or it isn't really a reunion because there wasn't no turn or anything like that, but they just went on more like singles wrestling path of Finesse and Jameson Shook being together. If Jameson Shook would have been eliminated in the first round, we all don't believe. But one thing I'm absolutely seeing is because I can absolutely imagine how this would go. Colby Carino versus Channing Thomas, with Bacabella doing references how he has been working with Steve Carino in the 90s or something like this. This is something that pretty much writes itself.
You're right.
I was very close to texting this to a certain Joey Eastman who has nothing to do with Cynthia Bacabella. And then something I would also see, which is similar to what you said, Drew, and also what you said, Val, that we could see some of like the big men collide. That we could see Mortar versus Crew, for example. Yeah. Maybe Casey also in it, as you said, Drew, that as a 3-way or maybe even as a 4-way. Something I could also see is, I don't know if he's like busy on the weekend, but given that he's also a TW regular and given that Gary J will be there, it would be cool to see a tag team match of Unsigned Don't Care. So Anakin Murphy with Gary J. I could see maybe Finesse having to defend his title against someone. maybe someone like Hunter Drake, something like this. And I also hope that Darian will get a match. And a match I would like to see is, for example, Darian. If Teriyaki wouldn't appear alongside Jay Lucas, you could also have a match with him. Or if Diego Hill would be eliminated in the first round, I don't believe this could also be a cool match. My last question, and this goes out to you, Val. Do you think we will see any more like women or matches with female competitors during the weekend? And if yes, who could we see on this weekend?
I hope so. It is.
Me too.
I am a huge proponent for women and non-binary folk in wrestling. It is a little disappointing that there's not any in the main tournament.
I think it is the first time since 2022, right? I think so, because in 2023 we had Shazza McKenzie and Sawyer Wake, and last year we had Rachel Armstrong.
Yeah. So I think that's a little disappointing to me, just as somebody that wants to see more inclusion of women and non-binary presenting people in those spaces. It's great that we have, Amina and Soraya in futures, but there's always room for more of that. And, I get it, but at the same time, women are making moves, so let's see them. That being said, you brought her up earlier, but Big Booty Judy.
Yeah.
She seems like she'd be a good fit, or Sigrid. They're people that are there anyway. So why not use them? Those are the two off the top of my head. But, there's always room for more women in wrestling.
Do you see any more like possible women matches, or maybe also intergender matches, or matches with non-binary wrestlers involved? What are your thoughts on this?
Maybe we have a couple of like a day before in the or like on the Saturday and at the Action Future Showcase. So maybe some stadium there, and like you have some in your roster, like Val said, like Sigrid and something like that. So I would love to see more. And, I would love to more if one was in the tournament, but hopefully next year. But I would love to if we see a lot more women's wrestling or intergender wrestling on the show. Would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. One name I definitely have to talk about, which has to be present in my opinion during an SCI weekend, is definitely Mackenzie Morgan. I don't know if she has another booking, but this is someone I would love to see. And maybe then people like Mackenzie, people like said, Big Booty Judy, having matches, for example, with Rhea Saber, with Amina Belmont, and maybe also Eden Monroe, which I think we haven't seen for a little bit in TWE. I'm not sure if there was a relocating or something, but Eden is always great to see. And I just want another name, which I still don't know if I don't know why she hasn't been that present in TWE and like SCI and Action so far. I would really love to see her, because she's from North Carolina, which is of course not that far away, and also a region where a lot of other wrestlers on this card come from, like Casey Owens, for example, or like Kobe Carino. And this is Erica Demia. I don't even know if you have seen her wrestle before, Drew.
I heard of her, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure that you have seen her wrestle before, Val.
What? You would assume that? Yes, I've seen her several times.
I mean, it's not very often that you see indie shows. It's not more often than 2 or 3 times a week, and yeah, but maybe what can you tell us about her? Because I feel like she would be a great fit for this tournament or for this weekend, also maybe for futures or something like this. And I also think that she's I'm not sure, she's 20 or something like this.
Yeah, she's pretty young.
Yeah.
Like her dad travels with her.
Yeah.
I've seen her. I think I saw the first time I saw her was Mania weekend of last year.
Yeah.
She was on, I think, the Sean or Stan Styles Intergender Bonanza show that I went to, which was kind of cool. She wrestles kind of in my neck of the woods in Hooligan Championship Wrestling. I think she's one of their champions. So I've seen her a good handful of times. I think it's a very interesting gimmick. She's doing like the whole anime thing, which is super popular right now. But that being said, I think that she has a busy schedule as it is.
I think so too.
And so that's kind of where I wonder if maybe if she's not looking to go anywhere new because she has such a full schedule with what she already has. But I don't know. That's pure speculation.
That's definitely the thing. If you look at it, you mentioned like Hooligan Championship Wrestling. I've seen her there as well. I've seen her wrestle on Uprising, and she's also been a part of the Stardom show during the Mania week, and so she's also traveling a lot, as you said, Intergender Bonanza, and maybe that's the reason, because I think she would be a great fit for the weekend overall.
But I would 1,000%, 1,000,000% agree with you. I love Mackenzie Morgan. I think she's great. She was, I believe she was in Futures last year. So I would love to see her back doing anything. I love her so much. She's such a sweetheart. So much fun.
Absolutely agree. I think Mackenzie is the only wrestler who, when she's on the road, sends me videos or pictures of pretty trees that she took and of some like a beautiful landscape and stuff like this. And Mackenzie's really very, very good wrestler, but also very, very good and very likable person. So if you're hearing this, Mackenzie, greetings to you, and I wish you all the best. And I think with that, do you have anything more you want to say about this weekend? Because I'm at the end. If not, well.
I'm just looking forward to it. I love that I get to go to this every year. I love that I have made so many cool friends like you and Drew. And, it's just a really cool time. It's a really special place. TW Arena is just a joy. The people that work there are fantastic. The crowd is usually pretty good. And even when the crowd isn't good, like we had saw a little bit last year, like that gets shut down real quick. You don't have to tolerate any sort of, racism, bigotry, sexism, homophobia, transphobia. Like there will be none of that. And they will shut that down in a real quick way. And to see that, especially in the southern United States, is huge. And just the vibes there are good. The people are good. The crowd is good. The other fans are good. Like, it's just a good place to be. It's a good time to be there. Everyone wants to enjoy wrestling and have a fun time. And, because it is a 2-day tournament with that night before, it's a good 4-day, it's 4 shows over 3 days. So it's not enough wrestling that you get burnt out, but it's enough to really keep you wanting to go. And it's such like, it's like the best part of like wrestling summer camp in a weird way, where you get to go to wrestling, you get to see your friends, you get to hang out, you get to go to the city cafe and eat giant pieces of cake. Like, and they're all doing it. You're all doing it at the same time. Everyone's there. And it's just it's really special, like between the wrestling and the camaraderie. So
yeah, I think these will be the things I will miss the most this year. This like hanging out in the city cafe diner and like you taking us to the venue and all of this. So if I would live thousands and thousands of kilometers or miles, also as well away, I would love to do it every year. I mean, I already did it twice in a row, which is ridiculous if you think about it, that I traveled there 2 times in a row. But I'm still looking forward to this weekend. As I said, I will try to stay awake at least for the SCI shows. I think it won't be possible for TWE because it's on a Thursday, but on the weekend I will try to. I will definitely watch Futures live, and I would definitely text some people during the show while watching it, and you will be one of them. Well, so get prepared for it. And do you have anything to say?
Not really much, which is already said. I'm really looking forward as well for it. I'm a bit sad that we couldn't make it this year, but there's always next year. So wouldn't be the last time that we were in Chattanooga last year. So it is how it is sometimes. But I'm really looking forward to watching the shows. I'm excited for it, and it should be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I also wanted to stress a little bit again, that what Val said, that SCI and the whole like SCI universe is a safe space for everyone. So it is really for everyone, and this is what's so great about this, that it's a big community that taking care of each other, and is really a great model for how we should and how we could all live together. And with that, thank you for being a part of this, Drew.
Of course.
And of course, thank you for taking the time. Well, I know it's still pretty early for you. So, and you are very busy. So thank you very much for taking the time to do this.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited that you would have your first English episode with little old me.
Of course. And from me as well, a huge thank you for being a part of this and making this possible.
Again, thank you so much for having me. Anytime I get to blab about wrestling is a good time.
It's funny to think about how people can become friends that they are so far away from each other, but I think that's the magic of independent wrestling. So thank you everyone to listening, and I hope you will listen to us in the future again. Goodbye.
Bye.
I'm not finished yet. I'm not leaving till everybody gets these hands.